Hey everybody, it's the Maurice Brown Show Sports Edition, playing a little pitch and catch with my nephew Caleb.
Hey guys.
He's the next Jerry Rice. Want to show him?
Yeah, let's
do
go.
it. You're gonna love this. Ready, set, go! Let's start the show.
Hey you guys, I'm Venus Monique from the hit crime drama Vindication, and you guys should definitely make sure you're catching Maurice Brown Show on Roku TV.
Yeah! Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Maurice Brown Show NFL edition. That was my nephew, Caleb Lopez, who is the starting field goal kicker for the Treasure Coast Patriots down in Port St. Lucie, Florida. He's the starting kicker. He's 12 years old. His team is ranked number 1 in the 12U division that's from Prospect Sports Illustrated. And he's number 1. Their team's number 1 in the country. And we're going to talk more about Caleb a little bit later on in the show. But right now, it's the NFL edition of the Maurice Brown Show. Week 1 had some interesting results in the NFL, starting with the Monday Night Football game earlier this week, the Denver Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson returns to the scene of the crime, if you will. Former Seattle Seahawker, now with the Denver Broncos. First game out of the gate, you're at home against the 12th man, arguably the loudest home field advantage in maybe all of sports. I don't know if I would go quite that far, but it's up there. And they were ready for him, and they lose the ball game 17-16. But my question is, so you have a guy like Nathaniel Hackett, who's the new head coach of the Denver Broncos. Who's Nathaniel Hackett? Who is this guy? I'll tell you who he is. He was the quarterbacks coach for the Green Bay Packers. Who's the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers? Aaron Rodgers. Does he really need a quarterback coach, really? Probably not. But he happened to be the guy who was the quarterback coach, and it made him look good. Aaron Rodgers has made a lot of people look good. I won't name all the names, Mike McCarthy, though, and all the receivers, Jordy Nelson, yada, yada, yada. So Nathaniel Hackett is now the coach of the Denver Broncos. And you're playing the Seattle Seahawks, a team that you should have beaten, maybe even handily, had a couple opportunities right there on the 1-yard line, failed. And then you get a questionable call with 20 seconds left. Let's see, what should I do? Should I give the ball to Russell Wilson, the guy we gave like $100 billion to, or should I leave it to my field goal kicker from about 64 yards out? I'll leave it to my field goal kicker from 64 yards out, and you lose the ball game. I don't get that. Anyway, that being said, they lose their first game right out of the gate, week 1. The Seattle Seahawks get their first win. And then some of the other games that went down in the NFL from week 1, there was an interesting number of games that went down in week 1. And the Washington Commanders had their first win of the year. But the Buffalo Bills and the Los Angeles Rams kicked it off on Thursday night of last week. And you're looking at Buffalo, and you're like, these guys are world beaters. Like, I don't know what to think about Buffalo. I mean, a 31-10, smashing of the Los Angeles Rams, the Super Bowl winners. And it just kind of makes you go, wow, okay, interesting. Are the Bills really this good? I mean, it makes you wonder. But they win that ball game, and I'm just looking at Buffalo, and I'm like, wow. The Rams are a team that, kind of right now got to get their feet under them, I guess. I look at Matthew Stafford. His arm is not what it should be. He doesn't have any zip on the ball. They don't have Von Miller. First game of the season. You're probably on a Super Bowl high, and you haven't come down yet. And I'll give you a pass. You're on a Super Bowl high. We'll just leave it at that rather than me go in and make your life more difficult than it already is. But you look at that, and you go 31-10 Buffalo over the Rams. And then you have the Philadelphia Eagles beating the Detroit Lions. But I want to look at the San Francisco game. The San Francisco 49ers lose to the Chicago Bears, led by Justin Fields. And I'm looking at this love affair that Kyle Shanahan has with Trey Lance. What has Trey Lance ever done? Well, he's not really done a whole lot. And you've got Jimmy Garoppolo. What has he done? Well, he's been to the Super Bowl. Came within one game of taking you to another Super Bowl. And you decide, we don't need Jimmy anymore. I want to go with the unproven rookie. I'm going to give him the ball this year in his sophomore season. And how did that do for you? You lost to the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field, a team that's not very good. And now you're just kind of going, all right, great play caller. Kyle Shanahan is a great play caller. But I don't understand this love affair with Trey Lance versus a proven start. Is Jimmy Garoppolo a great quarterback? No, he's not great. Is he a bum? He's not a bum. And he's won a lot of games for you. So I'm a little bit perplexed at the love affair that they have with Trey Lance right now and the kicking to the curb of Jimmy Garoppolo. Anyway, the Dallas Cowboys might end up giving him a call anyway. So they may not have his services for too much longer. We'll see what happens there. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals, 23-20. They win that ball game. You look at what happened there and you go, okay, well, the Bengals probably should have won that game, but 3 turnovers, 3 interceptions thrown by Joe Burrows. I'm going to say Carson Palmer, who used to be the coach, the quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals. But anyway, that being said, and then you look at the Patriots losing to the Miami Dolphins. And you go, all right, no Tom Brady. You have Mac Jones in his sophomore year and didn't look very good. And Tom Brady ain't going back out there. He's not coming through that locker room door ever again. And you're not looking very good. 20-7 to the Miami Dolphins. That was a surprising, not so much that it was a surprising loss, but the way that they lost. They just looked so ugly in that game. The Cleveland Browns beat the Carolina Panthers. That was Baker Mayfield's opportunity to prove to the Cleveland Browns that they made a mistake. They didn't make a mistake. They did make a mistake. They won the ball game with a Jacoby Brissett, who's not Deshaun Watson, who'll be joining the team later. But you lose your first game, Baker, 26-24 to the Cleveland Browns. We'll see what happens going forward. That being said, and then you look at the Indianapolis Colts tying matters with I got the wrong score there, 20-6. It was actually 20-20. It was a tie. That ball game was. And you look at Matt Ryan and you go, okay, well, surely Matt Ryan and the Colts are going to win a lot of ball games. They're not going to have any problems with the Houston Texans. Big problems. They had to rally to tie the worst team in the NFL. Very surprising result there in that particular game. And then the Washington Commanders beating the Jacksonville Jaguars 28-22. And that was not an impressive win. A lot of people want to, give the Commanders a lot of credit for winning. Well, you beat the second worst team in the NFL, and you had to rally to do that. So I don't know how excited I would be in Washington about that win. 28-22, a win is a win. You got the W, 28-22 over the Jacksonville Jaguars, who should be a little bit better, but I doubt they're that much better in their second year with their new quarterback from Clemson. So we'll see what happens with those guys. Moving forward, we got the New York Giants beating the Tennessee Titans 21-20. Saquon Barkley's back. The Giants get the win over the playoff-bound Tennessee Titans. That was a surprise win, but Saquon Barkley should make Danny Dimes a little bit better. I don't know why they call him Danny Dimes. He had one good game, and all of a sudden they got a trademark out called Danny Dimes. I don't get that. However, the kid's got potential. You got Saquon Barkley back. We'll see what happens. 21-20, Giants get the win over the Tennessee Titans. And then the Chargers and Raiders, they get down to business 24-19. The Chargers look really good in that game. They lost last night to the Chiefs in another barn burner. They're going to be a difficult team to deal with, but they beat the Raiders 24-19. Davante Adams with the Raiders in the silver and black. Should have been in the green and gold. Ask Aaron Rodgers. But they come up a little bit short. That was a great game. They're in the best division in football right now in the AFC West. I think you could argue that for sure. There's no question about that. Smurfs up. Jason Earl says Smurfs up. Hey, Jason, what's going on, man? I hope everything's going great in the metaverse. Would love to have you and Aaron Sorrells back on the show. Jason Earls and Aaron Sorrells, two funny guys with the metaverse deal going on. Check out my show that came out about 4 weeks ago. You can also see it on Spotify and Amazon Music. But yeah, the Giants are looking good. The Chargers are looking good, even though they lost last night to the Chiefs. The Chiefs last week beat the Arizona Cardinals 44-21 in a beatdown. The Chiefs don't look like they've missed a beat. Everybody said, well, I wonder what's going to happen when Tyreek Hill is gone. Same old, winning big. It's not about, let me just say this right now. It's not about Tyreek Hill. And it's not even about Patrick Mahomes. It's about Andy Reid. Andy Reid makes the Chiefs go. It's not about Travis Kelce. It's Andy Reid. He makes the Chiefs go. And they're going to continue to go and rack up the points and make another run for the Super Bowl. If you put Patrick Mahomes on the Houston Texans, you'd probably never hear from Patrick again. Is he a great player? He's a great player. Don't get me wrong. Patrick Mahomes is a phenomenal player. But it's Andy Reid. Andy Reid makes the Chiefs go. It's just that simple. The Dallas Cowboys, once again, hapless on the field. They lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 19-3. The Dallas Cowboys are in trouble again. They're always in trouble. Jerry Jones is the problem there. He seems to not be able to get out of his own way. And they have Mike McCarthy, who's a guy that built his success on being the coach of Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, two first ballot Hall of Famers. And he just happened to be the guy on the sideline while they were becoming legends. And the Cowboys, as usual, went out and they drank the Kool-Aid and they assumed that Mike McCarthy will win for us. No, not really. You're finding out that Mike McCarthy is an average coach at best. There's a reason they kicked him out of Green Bay. Anyway, let me move forward. I digress. And then last night it was the Chiefs over the San Diego Chargers 27-24. We are going to take a quick little break, and we'll come back and pick it up with some more interesting news. My nephew, Caleb Lopez, playing for the Treasure Coast Patriots down in Florida. We're going to talk a little bit about him and the week 2 in the NFL coming up.
We've got some fresh new young talent doing some things that I know you haven't heard before.
1, 2, 3. Listen,
brother, listen. Rising comic. You got Zachary. All he has to do is say, yo, stop, Zachary. Okay, are you Nancy? You say, yo, you already know? That's the most gangster thing I have heard all day, nigga. So you work downtown. Is that all you're going to give me, or are we going to... Okay, that's cool. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still going to be up here 15 more minutes just staring at you. teenager, all right? You homestead, man. You ain't got to say nothing out loud. Don't hold his arm. Don't hold his arm, First Lady. He all right. Beautiful place during the day. Nighttime, gotta lock the doors.
He got married, then married again.
Is this how y'all do it homestead? Y'all just take
Like, I'm only kidding. You don't have to come up.
sip some water and just leave it up there for people? They said, no, hablo inglés. He said, comedy show.
Yes.
I said, God can turn your life around. He did it for me. He turned my life around 360 degrees. Okay, some of y'all need to go back to math class. Y'all like, what's the problem with that?
The Maurice Brown Show, breaking down the four walls. Catch actor-comedian Maurice Brown as he hosts a panel of comedians leading a lost and dying world to the light of Christ with humor and spiritual insight.
I think about, going up on the mountain to go kill his son, and I'm like, he had to be a teenager because I want to kill my teenager.
So this was a Christian spoken word event?
My husband has a brother.
And you dropped the N-word?
Would have been choosing our husbands in a whole different way. Okay, if you go, then I got him.
Dennis, what do you think, buddy?
What's the question?
Wait a minute, Leland. Hold on, dude.
If we always build our careers on not saying what's offensive to some, to the weaker, then we will always be unstable in our comedy career.
There was like a giggle gospel, and you were going to laugh the Holy Spirit into your life.
I didn't know anything about salvation as a kid, so I thought it was funny.
There's something wrong with your ashy camera lens.
I'm out of here. I'm gone.
Yeah.
You got an ashy camera lens. That's what it is.
And then there was another one where it was barking like a dog.
Leland, come back, Leland, please.
It's a big difference between a man coming to him and a rich young ruler coming to him. That's why we always start with the King James translation.
You don't want to see this running.
Except the one whose faith is weak, without quarreling over disputable matters.
Remember the young men being taken to the restroom to shave if their sideburns were below the ear. Very legalistic. I don't know where they found that in the Bible. That church was in the hood.
In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Woo! Yes, sir. I love it. That was one of them prayers, Dave, where I needed to follow that up with Aretha Franklin.
The Maurice Brown Show, breaking down the four walls. Catch it on Facebook, YouTube, and Pulpit TV Live, and the replay on the Creative Motion Network on Roku TV.
All right, guys, get out there, be safe, watch each other's backs.
911, what's your emergency? There's a guy in the garage with my dad, and they're yelling, and I don't know what to do.
I'm Sergeant Travis with East Bank Police Department. Just here to follow up.
Be careful. Be safe. I love you.
There is no shortage of issues in this world today. Injustice, inequality, prejudice.
Where I grew up, there wasn't no hate about it.
There's something going on here. They're all covering for him.
Sad. It's like they're addicts. No limits.
I don't know what to tell you. Maybe it was one bad choice.
One bad choice or one got caught.
You know what I do know? Is that God doesn't abandon us just because we mess up. With all this shuffling going on, it's going to create opportunities for those who are willing to show how much they want to move up.
What do they expect to find in a review?
Between you and me, I have a lot of fans on that panel.
You never contact him again, or I will come after you.
I am so proud of you, but maybe just leave us out of it, okay?
We love you, Father. Continue to lead us, guide us, and direct us. Amen.
Yeah, man, that is a great show. Vindication, you can see it on Pure Flix. Directed and created by Jared O'Flaherty. There's some great actors in that dadgum episodic. Todd Terry Cameron Arnett, International Christian Film Festival Actor of the Year in 2020, I want to say. You can see him in Overcomer. That is a great series. You got to check it out. I love Vindication. Hey, it's me. I'm Maurice Brown. I'm back. We're talking NFL action. I want to talk about my nephew, Caleb Lopez, real quick, though. He is the starting field goal kicker for the number 1 12U team in the United States. They were ranked number 1 by Prospect Sports Illustrated a couple of weeks ago. There's the rankings right there. They're number 1 in the country. He's kicking 35 and 40-yard field goals at 12 years of age. You're going to see him in the NFL one day. He's only 12 years old, but I'm already putting that stamp on him. Number 1 team in the country. Caleb has appeared on our show from time to time, along with Antoine Stewart and Aaron Moore, who are usually with me here on this show. Could not be available today, but they'll be on some future shows down the road. Caleb as well, but be on the lookout for Caleb. That kid has a great leg, already kicking 35 and 40-yard field goals on the number 1 team once again in the country for 12U, as rated by Prospect Sports Illustrated. So I just wanted to get that out there for my nephew, Caleb. Very proud of him, and congratulations. Keep doing what you're doing. Let's switch gears and get over to week 2 in the NFL and some of the games that are coming up there. Let's see. My main man, Cornbread, actually mentioned the Dallas Cowboys earlier. He said it seems the Cowboys coaches and impact players are past their expiration date. Throw that milk out, Ma. The milk's old. I totally agree, Cornbread. I could agree with you more. But let's see what's coming up in week 2 in the NFL. A lot of really good games coming up this week in the NFL. The Patriots are one of those teams. They're playing the Steelers at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Now, I look at that game and I go, okay, the Steelers are 1-0. And they're probably going to be 2-0 after this game. Not that they're world beaters. I don't think Mitch Trubisky is a world beater by any stretch of the imagination. But the Patriots don't look good. I mean, they just don't look good. And Mac Jones is looking as though he's having a sophomore jinx. I don't know. But I'm going to go with the Steelers are at home. And I'm going to go with the Steelers in this game. I think they should go 2-0 after this week. The Panthers, Carolina Panthers, playing the New York Giants at 1 o'clock in New York. Going to go with the Giants in this one. Sorry, Baker. You're going to be 0-2 after this one, bro. Yeah. Sorry about that, Baker. And if you lose this game, if Carolina loses this game, expect Baker to go to the bench and they're going to trot another quarterback out there. And will life get better? No, it won't. They've got 2 very poor quarterbacks. I feel bad for Carolina. That's my home state too. I'm originally from North Carolina, but I got to call it like it is. Plus, I'm a Packer fan anyway. So I'm going to go with the Giants in this one. Saquon Barkley, welcome back to the fray. Danny Dimes should benefit tremendously with you back on the field. Maybe he'll earn that moniker, Danny Dimes. I don't know. But the Giants should win this game. The Jets versus the Cleveland Browns. This should be an easy one for the Cleveland Browns. You look at the Jets, you got Joe Flacco. Okay, Joe Flacco, when he was young, was slow. Can you imagine an old Joe Flacco? Ugh. And then Zach Wilson probably wishes that he had more eligibility to go back to BYU. Terrible. Yeah, I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns in this one. Just use Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt in this one and get ready for week 3. Cleveland should win this game. The Colts taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, the Jacksonville Jaguars are arguably the second worst team in the NFL. Okay. And you know, the Houston Texans being the worst team. But I look at the Colts and I go, wow, you struggled with Houston to get a tie. You rallied for a tie. And now you're on the road against Jacksonville, who, quite frankly and honestly, played a pretty decent game against the Washington Commanders, albeit it's the Washington Commanders. It was not a bad game. And I'm going to give the Jags the win here. I'm looking at the Colts, and I'm like, I like Matt Ryan, but I'm looking at the Colts, and I don't really quite understand what Frank Reich is doing over there. They don't look good. I'm going to give the Jags this one in an upset, a mild one at that. I don't think it would be a huge upset in Vegas if they won the ball game, but I'm going to go with the Jags in a mild upset over the Indianapolis Colts. Now, here's arguably the best game of the day. The Miami Dolphins visit Baltimore to take on the Lamar Jackson-led Baltimore Ravens. This is a really good matchup right here. You've got Tua Levante. I don't know how you pronounce his last name, but this kid, Tua, is being put on a pedestal by Tyreek Hill. And there's a big expectation that Tua can take the Dolphins to the promised land with Tyreek Hill. We'll see. Lamar Jackson, on the other hand, has a lot to prove. Like, there's a reason why Baltimore didn't pay him the money. In my opinion, there's no reason that they didn't pay him the money. But the belief is he can't win the big one. Here's a big game coming up in Baltimore, and Lamar Jackson needs to show the Ravens he can win these kinds of games, which I think he will. I'm going to take Baltimore in this one. Now, here's maybe the laugher of the day. The Washington Commanders and the Detroit Lions. I don't know if this is going to be a comedy show or just a flat-out easy blowout win for the Lions. Detroit is a weird team. They show up and they don't show up. They show up and they don't show up. I'm going to take the Lions at home over the Commanders because I have a feeling the Washington Commanders are going to realize what kind of investment they've made into Carson Wentz. A very bad one. A very bad one. And I used to be a Carson Wentz fan, but I think I've seen enough from him to conclude that he's not the real deal. So, anyway, I'm going to take the Lions in this one. That's a 1 o'clock game, Washington and Detroit. At 4:05, it's the Rams and the Falcons. And I want to say this game is going to be in Atlanta. I'm not 100% sure, but if it is in Atlanta, I'm going to take the Falcons in an upset. Again, I think the Rams are on a Super Bowl high. I think Matt Stafford is injured, so his calling card is the fact that he can place the ball in tight windows and take the top off the defense with that big arm he's got. But he's got arm issues, and he's probably going to need surgery down the road if he's not able to get the zip back on his throws. I'm going to take the Falcons in an upset here based on the fact that they got in a shootout with the Saints in New Orleans. They've got some offense. I'm going to take the Falcons in this one. That's going to be at 4:05 on Sunday. And again, I want to say that's going to be in Atlanta. I got to double check on that. But if it is in Atlanta, I'm going to go with the Falcons in that one. At 4:25, we've got the Cardinals taking on the Raiders in Vegas. I'm going to go with the Raiders in this one. The Cardinals don't look right. They don't have DeAndre Hopkins. They don't seem to be firing on all cylinders already out of the gate after that blowout loss to the Chiefs. Although the Chiefs are not chopped liver, they didn't look good. I'm going to go with the Raiders in this one, no question about that. The Texans travel to Denver. I think what the Texans are going to need to do is go ahead and get the plane gassed up and fired up come kickoff. They're done. They're done. Denver's angry, and they're going to take care of business at Mile High, and they'll blow out the Texans. No question. I'm at 4:25 on Sunday. The Bengals and Cowboys at 4:25 on Sunday. This one is in Dallas, in Big D. Bengals going to blow them away. There's no Dak Prescott. The Cowboys make tons of mistakes, miscues all over the place, courtesy of Mike McCarthy. Take the Bengals big in this one. And then later on that night at 8:20, it's the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. And I'm looking at the Packers right now, and I know that Aaron Rodgers is a first ballot Hall of Famer. But dude, you got to play with your receiving core in the preseason. You've never played with these guys. You've got all these new receivers, Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson. There's an injured Alan Lazard, and then you don't have Davante Adams. You should have played in the preseason with these guys. That was an ugly loss to the Vikings last week. I do expect the Packers to bounce back in this one. They're going to be at home. Home cooking should do them justice enough to beat the Bears at Lambeau Field. Of course, that's my squad. I got to go with them anyway, but I think they really can win the ball game. Now, Monday Night Football has a doubleheader going at 7:15. You've got the Titans taking on, and that is a total miscue right there. It's the Buffalo Bills that are playing the Tennessee Titans at 7:15, and I think Buffalo will win this game fairly easily. The Titans did not look good against the Giants, and they're a playoff team. The Titans didn't look good, lost to the Giants, and now you got Buffalo coming in riding high. I mean, they have to be ready from the word go. And the way they played against the Giants last week, I don't expect that. I think Buffalo will win this game easily in Tennessee. And then you have the Vikings taking on the Eagles in the nightcap of a doubleheader. And Kirk Cousins doesn't like the bright lights. As good as they looked against the Packers, it's a Monday night game. All eyes on Kirk Cousins. He doesn't like that. He doesn't normally perform well under those circumstances. And then the Eagles, you don't know what you got. The Eagles look like they might be a good team. They're going to be in Philly. It's on Monday Night Football. Let's just go with the Eagles in this one. Last time I checked, though, the Vikings do have Justin Jefferson, but I just don't like the way Kirk Cousins plays in a nationally televised game. He just doesn't show up very well in those types of circumstances. Anyway, you guys hang out. I'll come back with some final words in just a moment.
We've got some fresh new young talent doing some things that I know you haven't heard before.
1, 2, 3. Listen.
Listen, brother, listen. Rising comic. You got Zachary. All he has to do is say, yo, stop, Zachary. Okay, are you Nancy? You say, oh, you already know? That's the most gangster thing I have heard all day, nigga. So you work downtown. Is that all you're going to give me, or are we going to... Okay, that's cool. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still going to be up here 15 more minutes just staring at you. Nothing to do. Wait real hard like you have anesthesia, all right? You homestead, man. You ain't got to say nothing out loud. Don't hold his arm. Don't hold his arm, first lady. He all right. Beautiful plays during the day. Nighttime, gotta lock the doors.
He got married, then married again.
Is this how y'all do it homestead? Y'all just take...
I'm only kidding. You don't have to come up.
Sip some water and just leave it up there for people. They said, no, hablo inglés. He said, comedy show.
Yes.
I said, God can turn your life around. He did it for me. He turned my life around 360 degrees. Okay, some of y'all need to go back to math class. Y'all like, what's the problem with that?
Yeah, I have an appointment for a blood pressure.
Did he just sneeze on my desk?
Sir, if you're not feeling well, I'm gonna have the nurse come see you outside. No, brother, I'm feeling good. I just got a blood pressure check. My whole hood been vaccinated.
My whole hood's been vaccinated. This fool sneezing and coughing all on my. You gonna piss me off?
I understand that, but they can give you a blood pressure check outside.
Man, what is wrong with this dude? I swear for God, if you gonna get your.
Yeah, I have an.
That was my buddy Chris Sneed. Thank goodness COVID-19 has kind of moved on. I mean, we still have, elements out there, but for the most part, it looks like we're getting back to normal. But things, thankfully, Chris Sneed have gotten past the, my whole hood is vaccinated. Actually, that's not true. A lot of people don't get vaccinations, but it doesn't matter whether you do or you don't. Everybody stay safe out there. You're watching the Maurice Brown Show, the NFL edition, just going over games from last week and the upcoming games. We got college football coming your way this Saturday. Big games coming up as well. We'll find out if Texas can bounce back. I think they're playing UTSA. They played the Alabama Crimson Tide to the very last second last week. They knocked out their starting quarterback. Bama knocked out Texas's starting quarterback early in the game, and they still gave Bama all they wanted and some more, and they almost pulled off the upset. But Alabama and Georgia, Texas, all those guys playing this week. Georgia's your new number one as well. They should be, as they really pistol whipped Oregon last week. I mean, this is a Power 5 team, albeit not a top 5 team. They're a Power 5 team and a pretty good one from the Pac-12. And Georgia they just slapped them all over the place like it was nothing. So they are number one, justifiably so. Big games coming up this Saturday in college football and the NFL, of course. You got to love this time of year. You just got to love this time of year. It's the best time of year in America as far as I'm concerned. Hey, guys, thanks for hanging out and watching the Maurice Brown Show. And don't forget, breaking down the 4 walls with Christian comedians next week as we have Bible study together for a hilarious hour, but informative hour. And that's coming your way next week. So until then, everybody stay blessed, and may the peace of Jesus Christ be with you and your families, everybody, and God bless.
Smell that? That's napalm, son. Nothing else in the world smells like that. I remember we're in the train and we napalm this whole hill. I mean, the whole hill. That smell, that gasoline smell, smelled like victory. Someday this war's gonna end.